Today we're going to talk about if the no contact rule works when your ex is seeing someone else. But like always, if you're going through a breakup and you need help determining whether or not you should be trying to get your ex back or trying to move on, probably the best thing you can do for yourself is to stop by my website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, and take my Ex Recovery Chances quiz. It's a simple 2-minute quiz designed to tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back so you know whether or not you're wasting your time in your particular circumstance. So all you have to do if you want to take the 2-minute free quiz is simply look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on it. It's pretty simple. All right, let's talk about the no contact rule and if it works if your ex is seeing someone new. Now, we should probably start off by talking about what the no contact rule is. Usually the no contact rule is the foundation upon which this strategy of getting an ex back and sometimes even moving on from an ex is built. I've written many different articles on it, filmed many different videos, and even done podcast episodes over it. But what is this elusive no contact rule? Well, simply put, the no contact rule is a period of time where you ignore your ex on purpose with the intent of making them miss you, while at the same time working on upgrading your life in all necessary areas. What have we learned with regards to the no contact rule and your ex actually moving on to someone else? Does it lose effectiveness in that particular case? Well, I think in order to properly answer that question, there's 2 things that we need to talk about. The first thing is the biggest misconception people have about the no contact rule. And the second thing is what we've learned through real life research, what actually works when your ex has moved on to someone else. What is the biggest misconception people have about the no contact rule? Well, the average person goes to Google and searches the no contact rule and winds up on either my site or someone else's website and learns about the no contact rule. But they fail to understand the true definition that is kind of related to the no contact rule. You see, what they read is, hey, if I ignore my ex for this amount of time, my ex is gonna miss me. But that's really not the entire intent of the no contact rule. You see, yes, the no contact rule can make your ex miss you, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that they will miss you. Really, the secret sauce of the no contact rule is what you're using your time to do during the no contact rule. When I interview real life success stories who've used the no contact rule to get their exes back, the one big pattern I noticed from them is they didn't just sit around hoping that the no contact rule was going to make their ex miss them. I mean, sure, there's been a few cases where the no contact rule was basically all it took for the ex to come begging back, but probably 90% of the cases, that's not what happens. Usually it's the growth they experienced during the no contact rule that they take out when they actually begin to communicate with their ex. That's what they really talk about when I interview them. They say, you know, I went through the no contact rule and the first 2 weeks were the hardest. But after I got past those 2 weeks, I started looking at the situation for what it really was. I started realizing, you know what? I'm not this sad, depressed person. I'm this awesome person and I should be more awesome. Now, the second big thing is what we've learned about the no contact rule through actual success stories. Not only is it a function of what you're doing with your time during the no contact rule, but actually the time in which you stay in the no contact rule is kind of a critical factor if your ex has moved on to someone else. Now, I tell this story too often for my own good, so if you've heard me tell it before, just bear with me here. But when I first started my business, I used to struggle advising people who's had exes who moved on to new people. And this was a problem because a lot of situations when it comes to breakups is essentially someone admitting that they think they can do better than you. And they're going out to try to find someone better than you. So what do you do if your ex has found someone that they think is better than you? How long are you supposed to stay in a no contact rule? Well, early on, I believed that the shortest amount of time was probably ideal. My thinking, of course, was, look, if you can just stay in a no contact rule for 21 days and then talk to your ex, it will give your ex and the new person just not too much time to bond together. You can kind of get in there and disrupt that. But what we found is that the results were typically disastrous when we advised people to do that. It was actually by mistake when we tried to do something different. You see, we had a client who was basically going through a breakup and her ex moved in with a new girl. So right now we have kind of a code red situation. Her ex has broken up with her and moved in to a new house with a new girl. What does she do? Well, we decided, hey, do a typical no contact rule, 30 days. So 30 days go by and she comes back to us and says, I just don't feel like I'm ready to talk to him yet. So we said, okay, do another 30 days. So she does another 30 days and then she feels a little bit more confident in talking to him. She eventually talks to him and he mentions that they've been having some trouble in their relationship. Interesting. Have you ever heard that phrase, don't shoot the messenger? Well, essentially that applies here. One thing that will bond your ex and his new person together closer is a common or shared enemy. Human beings are very tribal by nature, and you right now are an extracurricular tribe. So if you actually do a short period of no contact or do no period of no contact at all and try to win your ex back, it's not going to go well for you. You will essentially be the messenger getting shot. So instead, what you should do is actually a longer period of no contact. We found the sweet spot tends to be around 45 days, basically a month and a half of no contact where you let your ex and the new person go through their honeymoon period. And you are not going to insert yourself into the equation until that honeymoon period is kind of leveled out a little bit. But that brings up our next problem. What are you supposed to be doing during this time? Okay, there's a couple of things that I want you to do during a longer period of no contact. The first thing is pretty obvious. Don't get impatient. The true success comes when you actually find something that you care more about than your ex. Now, probably one of the videos that I'm most proud about on this YouTube channel is a video I did a few months ago called Show Your Ex That You Don't Care. After interviewing multiple different success stories, we noticed that pretty much the pattern to success for getting an ex back was really not caring if you got them back. In other words, people who found things that were more important to them than their ex tend to do really, really well. And really, when you look at breakups as a whole, we have a tendency to get kind of a tunnel vision. We focus in on what our ex is doing or what the other woman is doing and how you compare to that other woman. But what if I were to tell you that that is wasted time, wasted effort on things that you could be doing to achieve your magnum opus, or things that you care about more than your ex? So here's my challenge for you, or rather a question. What is it that you care about more than your ex? And here's the little prerequisite. It can't be your children. It has to be something that you create, something that you think of. For some, it could be a novel. Others, it could be doing music, writing music. It doesn't really matter, but you need to find something that you care more about than this breakup. And if you aren't able to do that, that tells you you have some work to do. Now, I'll never understand why people knock on me when I basically say, find something you care more about than your ex. You see, in my mind, there's nothing shameful in focusing on yourself, and yet people continually to knock it like it's some cliched advice. But there's nothing more valuable you can do with your time than truly working on yourself or improving the areas of your life that you feel need to be improved. One of those areas that you probably need to improve is your ex's negative perception of you. You see, when we're with someone for a long period of time, it's only natural for us to gain certain beliefs about them. For example, let's say that you have a tendency not to clean up after yourself and you were living with your ex. Well, your ex is going to think that you're sloppy or you leave things lying around. This is their perception of you. Now, this happens in all sorts of little ways, but what I'd like for you to do is take out a piece of paper and make a list of every conceivable negative perception that you can think of. Think of these as your negative perception pillars, the negative qualities your ex thinks that you have. Now, these negative qualities or these negative perception pillars inform your ex's entire opinion of you. In other words, he thinks that he knows everything there is to know about you, the good and the bad. Your goal is to create new depths to yourself, new layers for him to peel back. Oftentimes, the most common negative perception pillar that your ex will have of you is that you're too stable, that you're boring, that you just want to sit at home and do nothing. That's kind of an easy thing to overcome. Let's say you go skydiving or you do something very crazy or adrenaline filled. All of a sudden, that takes your ex's negative perception and flips it on its head. You're doing something to basically inform a new layer to yourself. They're looking at you from afar and thinking to themselves, maybe I had her pegged wrong. And oftentimes, the more you focus on doing this during the no contact rule, the more your ex will begin to pay attention to you. But it's really not your ex that you want to pay attention to you, it's the other woman. So let me ask you a question. When you first started dating your ex-boyfriend, didn't you at least get curious what his exes looked like, were like? Did you ask him questions about his past relationships? I bet you even went onto Facebook or Instagram and looked at to compare how you were to her. What kind of women is he attracted to? Is she like me? Am I a carbon copy of her? Am I better than her? Well, guess what? Your ex's new girlfriend is doing the exact same thing as you. But if you're on social media and you're looking very sad, depressed, or angry, guess what? The new girl is going to think that she's better than you. It's your goal to turn that narrative on its head by basically intimidating the new girl by doing nothing but being awesome. Okay, let's say that I had a massive crush on a girl and decided I am going to ask her out on a date. She agrees, we go on a date. Everything goes really well and she and I agree we're gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend. Of course, I ask the inevitable question, hey, what was your ex like before? And she says, oh, I dated Brad Pitt. Wouldn't that be a little bit intimidating? I mean, constantly you're comparing yourself to this person who is a superstar movie actor with good looks who is better looking than you, and you're feeling a little bit bad about yourself. Not because that person made you feel bad by talking to you, but you're intimidated. This is what you're trying to do to the other woman. You're trying to become so awesome from afar that your ex not only regrets his decision to break up with you, but the new girl is thinking, what's wrong with him? Why did he leave that golden goddess of a woman? That is the key to making no contact work if your ex has moved on to someone else. Hey, thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. I apologize ahead of time if you heard thunder. I mean, I'm just that good. But also, it's probably not advisable to film a YouTube video in the middle of a gigantic thunderstorm when you feel like you're about to get lit on fire by lightning. Yet that's what I just did. So if you hear thunder, that's why. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you take that X Recovery Chances quiz I talked about at the beginning of this YouTube video. Doing so is pretty simple. Just look below in the description, click on the link you see there, we'll take care of you. Also, if you haven't liked, commented, and subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I'm trying to do as much content as possible, hopefully daily, but we'll see what happens. See you later.